Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the G Perspective. I am your host, George Michael Perez, aka GMike. You guys already know what it is. First of all, let me start by saying thank you for all the average listeners and viewers that I get on the show. Appreciate your support. I hope you guys keep coming back. I want to give you this content that I'm really excited about. Keep moving forward. I know I only got 18 episodes right now, but I want to keep it rolling, try to hit 25 one day, 50, 75, 100 and beyond. So hopefully you guys keep listening, and I really appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna change up the episodes a little bit. The intro is gonna be a little different. What I'm gonna start doing from now on is do a little intro just by myself, not have the guest on while I'm doing it, and just introduce who I'm gonna have on and what topics we're gonna be talking about. So today, with the brand new way of doing things, we're gonna have on Austin Dillingham. He is a Full Sail University student, just like me, in the same program, trying to be a sportscaster, an inspiring sportscaster in the field. He's gonna do great things. He has tons of knowledge when it comes to the NFL and his particular team, the Baltimore Ravens. So without further ado, we're gonna be talking about the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, Game 1. And tonight is Game 2 against Dallas Mavericks against the Golden State Warriors, and then tomorrow is the Miami Heat going to the Boston Celtics arena. They're gonna face them in the Game 2 game, and then we're gonna be going into a little on the Baltimore Ravens and their off-season moves, because he's really excited and he wanted to go on a little rant about them. So hopefully you guys keep watching, and thank you again.
The G Perspective. I'm doing well, sir. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no. Thank you, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you on. Real quick, before we get in the nit and gritty, let me introduce you to the fans. It's my boy, Austin Dillingham. And if I say that wrong, please correct me. All right. And I do not get offended on that. And you're from Maryland, right?
No, from Richmond, Virginia, my friend. I claim the whole DMV area. You know what I'm saying? Like to root for my birds. My pops grew up a Baltimore Colts fan, so took over the reins from him. And we here, members of the flock, loud and proud, baby.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are doing pretty good the past few seasons, and you made
we under the radar.
some strategic off-season moves that we'll get into later.
Sir. Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
Right now, I'm on edge, man. I'm on edge after last night's game between the Miami Heat and the Boston Celtics, Game 2. And dude, like,
stand up.
Yesterday, I just wanted to punch a hole in the wall, man. After the first quarter, I was just like, "Yo."
Well, listen, I think there's a lot to unpack there with this series so far. And I mean, really, like, that's been the tone of the NBA playoffs in general. It's just been back and forth. Like, one team got it one game, next game they don't. I mean, the best example is the Phoenix Suns, best team in the entire association. They don't show up for Game 7 at home. How does that make sense? Sometimes you just don't have it. And sometimes the other team, I mean, they are full, every single team full of NBA players, really good basketball players. So if you let them get hot early, let them develop that rhythm, you might get buried. And that's what happens. I mean, I don't believe that Marcus Smart, even though his presence, was much needed in Game 1, I don't believe he's going to turn into Rajon Rondo every single playoff game for the remainder of this series. But I think this one is about as even as we got. I thought the Golden State and Memphis series was pretty even Steven, until John Morant got injured. But I think this one might be the series of the playoffs once we get look back on it after the whole thing is said and done.
Yeah, no, and going back to what you said a little bit ago on how the playoffs have been shaping out. Each team in every single series, they take one game, then the next team comes back and take another game. As an NBA fan, we have to be super appreciative of that, because it's not like how the NBA was 5-10 years ago. And if you have two superstar players that they're gonna get you to the Holy Grail, and they're gonna come and get you this wonderful masterpiece at the end of the season and stuff. No, now it's more like Every single team has great players because the NBA is evolving. Our generation players are more skilled, faster. They could jump higher. It's just the evolution of basketball right now. So it's more of a team sport now than it has been before. Because like I said, like back in the '90s, Michael Jordan and Pippen, no one's stopping that. In the early 2000s, Shaq and Kobe. Then you got LeBron and D Wade when LeBron came to Miami. It's like they're just taking over the game. Now
Yeah.
it's more like every team has a full team off the bench and the starters, and we got to be super appreciative of that.
I mean, it's the same deal in the NFL currently. I mean, you look back to the '90s, and that was the heyday of the Cowboys. You got the Patriots run throughout all of it. There's so much parity now in these leagues, especially the NFL and the NBA, because they're 1 and 2 as far as the biggest leagues in America. And I think it's great for the league to I've been a LeBron fan since he came in '03. I remember buying his shoes. I remember buying his jersey, right when he came out. And I've been a fan of his throughout those games that he had against the, Celtics, whether he was, on his first or second stint with the Cavs or whether it was in Miami. I mean, were some of the most memorable games that I've watched as a fan, along with the series, with Kyrie hitting that shot at the end. They went in 6 and Golden State. I mean, it got a little, out of hand once KD goes, and joins up, the 73 win Warriors. I mean, LeBron can only do so much when it's 4-on-1. But still, he got his team to the finals year in and year out. What was it, like 11 consecutive years that Brown made it? Something like that. Something
It
crazy,
wasn't.
like 9 years.
It wasn't consecutive, but he's been to the finals.
Yeah,
10 or 11 times.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. I mean, with Braun out, it's given these new guys a chance to step up and take the reins, climb onto that mantle. You got Luka, absolutely spazzing against the Suns. I mean, he had his struggles in the second half of game 1. But I think he'll bounce back tonight in game 2 for sure. I mean, he's one of the top 3 players in the league, in my opinion. But Booker came up short in that game 7, but he had a hell of a run there. John Morant till he got injured. I mean, you got, Clay and, Steph doing up to their usual tricks with Jordan Poole now in the mix. But there's a lot of young talent, a whole lot of parity in the NBA. And I think it's nothing but, good news for the league. Like I said, miss having Braun in there, but I think the league is for sure in good hands, like most people believe.
No, yeah, facts. I agree. I agree with you on that. But let's dissect the game last night, man, because I got a little pissed off with one of my favorite players in the league right now, Bam Adebayo.
Ooh,
Bro,
I wanted to talk to you about him.
Bam. I know I'm no analyst or reporter on ESPN, but if you happen to come across this podcast, just want to say, you my dog. Got a lot of love for you. And for my boys that know it, and for my family members that know it, if I got love for you, I'm gonna tell you how it is. I'm gonna tell you the truth. And Bam, you play like shit on the offensive end. How is it that you're our second best player and you only take 6 shots and only made 6 points? If you would have taken 15 shots and only made 6 points, I wouldn't even be as mad. I would have been like, okay, he tried. He went up there. He was aggressive. He went up to the rim. He tried to put it on Robert Williams' stovetop. But no, you only had 6 field goal attempts, bro. What is that?
I hope he beats the glorified screen setter allegations, my friend.
Bro, man, it's just, it's ridiculous, man. Like, on the last 4 games, each game he's taken under 10 field goal attempts, bro. You cannot be our second best player and be doing that, man.
No doubt. I saw the stat flash across the screen last night during the game that during the regular season, averaging 19 and 10. During the playoffs, averaging 14 and 7. That's 14 points, 7 rebounds. That's Kevon Looney numbers, my friend. It's ugly business what's going on right now. I mean, Jimmy is being Jimmy.
Of course.
And playoff Jimmy is a different beast. He's got the ball a lot more, in my opinion. I don't think the offense of the Heat has been as free flowing as it was, say, in round one against the Hawks. I mean,
I agree.
you got the $19 million man, Duncan Robinson, living my dream of, making 19 mil and just sitting on your ass in Miami. What's he doing? I mean, I think they definitely need Kyle Lowry back. I think Lowry is going to allow this offense to flow a lot more. You need that steady veteran point guard in the playoffs in order to get you over the hump, in my opinion. I mean, go back to however many, championship teams you want to look at. They always had solid point guard, solid ball distribution. But I think right now that's what Miami is lacking. Love me some Strus. Love me some Gabe Vincent. Undrafted, stars, doing their thing. They're sharpshooters. They're great shooters, but they don't have the playmaking prowess of a Kyle Lowry to maybe facilitate to Bam in that pick and roll offense like you saw during the regular season.
No, yeah, and the championship DNA that Kyle Lowry has. I mean, he only has one chip, but that's more than a lot of players in the league right now.
Yep. More than Chris Paul.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I can't bash my man Chris Paul.
We can get to that Suns pack on another day, my friend. They've been lit up far too much for me.
Oh man, no, but yeah, Lowry, he needs to come back next game. We need him for the first game in Boston because Game 3 is what really decides the series, in my opinion. Whoever wins Game 3 is most likely to take the series. We need him back 100%. I love Gabe Vincent, like you said, but he's a defensive masterpiece on the court as a point guard. Like before, when he came into the league, he wasn't like that. So when he got to Miami, it completely changed his game. But Lowry, he dissects and he displays a different type of game for the Miami. He's the actual playmaker on the court. You see out there is Jimmy right now doing everything, playing defense, setting up plays, making points, grabbing rebounds, getting steals. Like the man can only do so much, bro. Like he needs Bam and Hero to step up. 6th man of the year to step up. Hero only had 11 points this game. That's fine. Yeah. He shot 5 for 11. So I like. I like the fact that he's taking the shots, but come on, man. You need to be out there being aggressive. This game, after the first quarter, there was no aggression in the Miami Heat against the Boston Celtics. The Celtics looked like they were at home and the Heat were on the road. That's what it looked like last night.
Yes. I mean, the cushion that they were giving Jaylen Brown all night allowed him to, develop a rhythm from three. And once that happens, once Jaylen Brown is on, Tatum is – the runway is clear for him.
Yeah.
So, and if you got Marcus Smart dropping 20 and 9 and 12 assists, I mean, it's a wrap. I mean, ain't much you can do beyond that. The minutes need to be more, evenly distributed amongst the guards. Hero is as streaky as they come. He's still a young cat. I mean, he won 6th man of the year, so nothing, ain't no slouch. But he is a streaky shooter. Sometimes he'll have those 4 for 13 games from 3, and that's kind of what Max Strus and Gabe Vincent are starting to do. It just needs to be more like evenly distributed, and once I think Lowry gets back and brings that calm and the loss of PJ Tucker last night was a big deal as well. I mean Tucker may get you only 5 and 5 per game, but he's out there to offset the defensive load of guarding the best player when, Jimmy's got to take a break. Because, go back, through NBA history, how many times is that best player who is leading their team in scoring night in and night out, also guarding that other team's best player night in and night out? Yes, they may, take some trips on him, but, even Kawhi had Pascal Siakam switch up with him a little bit, on that Toronto team. It's rare that you see that two-way player, keep that same level throughout the entire postseason, because if you make it all the way to the chip, it is pretty much like an additional season. You're going to wear out after a while. I mean, that's the one knock on my GOAT, LeBron James, that he don't get back on the defensive end. But hey, he's going to be the all-time leading scorer in the NBA for a reason. That's because it's chess, not checkers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. Piggyback on what you're saying though. Like imagine if the best player in the team on the offensive end is doing what he does, doing his thing, scoring, giving you 30 a game, 35 a game, and then you expect him to go back and guard their best player every single play. Imagine how tired you're gonna be after just one game, playing
Mhm.
7 games, going to game seven, like 2 or 3 series in a row, and you're gonna tell me that you want your best player guarding their best player on the defensive end? No, no, you don't want that because then there's gonna be no effort later on if you go to the finals or you go to the conference finals. Like, no, you gotta be realistic. Like how you said, you gotta get another player to guard their best player. Now, just giving credit to the Boston Celtics because, yo, they went off. Jason Tatum,
Yep.
27. Jalen Brown, 24. Marcus Smart, 24. Grant Williams, 19. And then Peyton Pritchard, little white boy running around everywhere, just shooting threes from
Bro.
God knows where, got 10 points. Like, yo, they were on a tear last night. Like I said, it was like that. It was like Boston was at home and Miami was on the road.
Yeah. No, I mean, Grant Williams has been on another level. PJ Tucker Jr. I mean, pretty much. But he's shooting up. I mean, what he only had 2 threes last night, but he had the 7 for 18 game and game 7, which was wild. I
Yeah.
mean, Milwaukee just let him, shoot every single, spot up 3 that he wanted to. And after that 3 was taken, they said, do it again. Keep doing it.
Yeah.
And they went down with that ship. But I mean, you got evenly distributed scoring for the most part amongst your stars. I mean, you got 3 guys with 20 points. Grant Williams off the bench with 19, and Pritchard. I mean, God bless him. He's giving it his all out there. 2 for 6, 4 for 11 from 3 in the last game. So he's chucking them, but that was without Marcus Smart.
Yeah.
Bob Williams. I'm looking at this. Only 20 minutes in game 2, coming off of a very well played game 1, which was surprising to me because he had his offensive game going in the first quarter. I don't think he did much after that. I think he might have finished with like 14 points or something like that. But only playing 20. I mean, Al Horford definitely offsets some of those minutes for him. But I think that a dose of Robert Williams and Al Horford, splitting that time 50-50 is a good recipe for stopping Adebayo because you got two different defenders. You got one with the crazy athleticism and the other one with the veteran savvy. I think that's it's been a good recipe so far to neutralizing Bam. So give credit where credit is due. Holding him to those types of numbers, but Bam's got to be more aggressive. I mean, he's been like I haven't really been watching him on the defensive end. I mean, I feel like he's been, holding it down for the most part for, throughout these playoffs. But I mean, he's known as a, huge defensive stopper as well. But I'm seeing Jason Tatum and, a lot of guys getting to the rim at will. I saw Tatum thread a pass right through Strus and, Bam to cutting Grant Williams and looked like it was, Braun feeding, J.R. Smith on the baseline. Like it was, absolute, threading the needle right there. So I just
Yeah.
think it just needs to be stepped up all across the board. I mean, Jimmy's bringing that energy, so why can't they?
No, yeah, no, they need to follow off him, and especially going into Boston this Saturday, Game 3. It's gonna be tough, and especially if Boston carries that momentum of what they displayed last night. Oh man, Miami's gonna be in a rude awakening if they don't wake up and bring that energy. Because
Mhm.
man, Boston has their sights on winning a chip this year. So
Why all these
all
games start at 8:30, man? We don't even got a Saturday matinee going. Like all these games are late, past my bedtime.
Yeah, man, Eastern Standard
You know,
Time, baby. This is time to party. 8:30. That's when you
I
start
get it.
drinking. That's when you
I
start
get it in
drinking.
Miami. I get it in Miami, but in Boston, oh man, they're gonna be mad. They're gonna be mad if Miami, steals one from them and they stayed up for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. You,
Gonna be
you know
mad.
what that reminds me of, bro? That pisses me off. I hate the national media attention that Miami gets. First of all, they don't get enough. And then
Mhm.
second, when people say, "Oh, the crowd doesn't show up. Oh, the crowd's not there. This and that." First of all, this is our last night was our 500th consecutive game of a sold out arena. All right. Let me tell you about the people in Miami. All right.
Mhm. Mhm.
One, most of us in Miami are Hispanic, right? And
Mhm.
Hispanics, if you say, yo, show up at 7 o'clock, most of them are showing up at 7:30, 8 o'clock. I'm telling you right now, that's how it
Who
is.
among us, you know? Who among us?
And then on top of that, the traffic. The traffic to get there, people in Miami are probably the worst drivers in all of the United States. I'll attend to that.
Orlando's a close second. Orlando's a
Okay,
close
yeah, no,
second
no,
for
it's
sure.
like right there.
Uh-huh.
It's
One
like
A, one B.
like one dove to the finish line and the other was just trying to run.
Right,
You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right,
And
right.
then when it comes to halftime, going into the third quarter, people are out there getting their drinks. People are going to the Bacardi Club that's outside of that Heat Arena. If you guys do not know this, it's on the little outside. People go there, try to get their drinks too. They get their food and stuff, and then they go back to the
I
seats.
see that.
Yes.
They got a whole club
Yes.
underneath the bleachers. Like
Yes.
on that floor level. That's what they do.
No, it's not. It's not underneath the bleachers. They just made it look like that because of the edit and stuff.
You've seen that TikTok though. So
yeah. I saw that
editing,
TikTok.
The editing made it look like
editing.
they walk right through the tunnel.
No, it's
and
not
then,
there.
Like
it's
go
not
through
there.
these curtains.
No,
and then you know you got what is that? What's that one in Miami? The one that featuring Gunna. Free my man. By the way. Yeah, Live that one. That's the one.
Yeah,
no. Right there.
It's not under the bleachers. It's not like that. It's on the house. Right. It's in the vicinity of the arena, but it's in the outskirts, right? But
that's crazy stuff.
Yeah. The national media attention of saying that the Heat fan does not show up. No, that's wrong. That's completely wrong. That's incorrect. If you go to a Heat game, you will see what I'm talking about, and you'll know what I'm talking about if you live in Miami. I just had to go on a little rant right there because I don't appreciate the fact that other fans are saying that the Heat fans don't show up.
No, I completely agree with you. I mean, those runs that I remember with Bron and Wade. I mean, those were some of the most amped up crowds. That one game where Ray Allen hits the three over Ginobili to force that game 7. I mean, that was one of the most memorable games that I've watched. And I remember that crowd was crazy. I mean, you got that iconic image of Wade in the L Heat jersey, standing on top of the scoreboard saying, I run this. This is mine. You know what I mean? Just like, a very iconic fan base. I got no qualms with the Miami faithful. I know you. Hey, listen, I experienced y'all in full force in on Thursday Night Football when I went down there. First time I ever went to Miami for that abysmal showing by my Ravens against the Miami Dolphins. But
which was last season.
Yeah, that was last season.
Yeah, I remember that game.
That was really the start of the Ravens' ultimate demise. It was just a bad season overall. We had the injuries to start out, and then that game. I mean, Sammy Watkins. Good riddance to that man, but he had wide open, touchdown.
Yep. He was
Hollywood Brown-esque, versus Detroit, and that would have put us on top early, but it was too little, too late. But yeah, the Miami fans, they were coming in. They were just like, oh yeah, man, we love Lamar. Like, it's all me with the jersey. They're just like, yeah, we love Lamar. Like, good luck to you guys. And then it, being all friendly and welcoming and whatnot when I was going in, but when I was leaving.
It's not like that. It's not like that. They talk smack, boy. We talk smack.
I was like, where were y'all? Like, what? Like, where were y'all before this? But no, it was different. It was different. Much respect to the Miami faith.
Yeah, I got called out for that game because I predicted that the Ravens were going to win like 33-0 because of the year before that.
You wasn't the only Miami fan. Like they like a couple guys said, yeah, keep it within 30, please. Like, and they had me riding high, just gaslighting my ass all the way through, the gates.
Yeah, because the season before, Miami and Baltimore played week 1, and Lamar Jackson lit that ass up. Like, it was like 6 TDs thrown and 1 rushing. Yeah, it was something crazy like that. It was like 77-0 or 77-7 and some crazy number.
It had to have been like the second or third play, and that was Hollywood's rookie year that he hit him for like 70 yards.
Yeah.
That eventually led to the 13-3 season. But yeah, that game, I thought it was going to be more of the same, but credit to B-Flow's defense. I mean, they showed up and the Ravens did not. I think they might have had, one too many on South Beach, that afternoon before. But Thursday night's always a 50-50 shot in my opinion, whether your team shows up or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we keep getting into the whole meats of Baltimore Ravens, let's
Hmm.
close out these conference series right now. So the Golden State
Yes,
Warriors are
sir.
hosting the Dallas Mavericks, and in Game
Hmm.
One, the Warriors went off.
Hmm. Yep. Nope.
Yeah,
That they
honestly,
did, as they do, as they do.
yep,
Hmm.
yep, yep. No, but they played an amazing game. They had 7 players in double figures. They had Andrew Wiggins with 19, showing that he's an all star. I still
Hmm.
don't think he's an all star, but whatever. Draymond Green with 10, Kayvon Looney with 10, Klay Thompson with 15. He started heating up in the second half. And in the first half, he wasn't really doing much. Stephen
That
Curry,
boy Looney Olajuwon, bro.
yeah, hey, he's putting in work for that team, man. They really need
Big time.
him down the stretch, 100%.
Hmm.
Stephen Curry, 21, Jordan Poole, 19, and Otto Porter with 10. Man, honestly,
Hmm.
I do not see Dallas winning a game at Golden State. I feel like Golden State's role players are too comfortable. I don't know if you saw the TikTok I put yesterday, but I think they're too
Hmm.
comfortable at home to lose against a Dallas Mavericks team that really only depend on Luka Doncic to score 50 points if they want to be in the game. So like if he's only scoring 30, they probably lose by like 10 or 15, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you got Reggie Bullock taking the same amount of threes and shooting for the same percentage as Luca, you're in some hot water, I would say. But no, I completely agree with you. The Warriors are being the Warriors. They are just they're looking like they're developing more and more of a rhythm as they go. I mean, Clay has had his bumps along the way. Certainly Steph as well. I mean, Steph missed how many free throws in that game 2 nights ago. He was, let's see here, I mean, he was 4 for 7. I mean, that is not a Steph Curry like performance. 3 for 9 from three, shooting 43%. I mean, Clay picked up the slack a little bit, had a solid 15. Andrew Wiggins as well. Andrew Wiggins is definitely the wild card to watch throughout the remainder of these playoffs, because
Yeah,
Golden
facts.
State has always been like the lethal 3-man punch, but you've got every bit of a 4-man death lineup that can fill it up throughout. I mean, a member of that death lineup when KD was there was Draymond and a very old Andre Iguodala, and those guys don't have really the capability to put up 20 plus night in and night out like an Andrew Wiggins. I mean, he's a freaking former #1 overall pick. I mean, he's got athleticism that allows him to jump out of the gym,
Hmm.
and with his ability on the defensive end, I mean, if he keeps it up, it's a big ask to keep it up on Luka, one of the top players in the league. But when Wiggins doesn't have it, you can throw in, like I said with the Bob Williams and Al Horford dynamic on Adebayo. You got Draymond then to throw another look at him. He doesn't have the maybe the lateral quickness to keep up with Luka when he's driving to the lane, but he definitely has the veteran savvy to know like where his next move is and try to cut him off.
Hmm.
And then you throw in Clay there as well to offset some of that defensive load. I mean, Clay certainly isn't what he was during that 2014 to 2017 title run that they had on the defensive side, but Clay is still a very serviceable defender and one of the better ones that they have on that squad. um, on the Dallas side, I mean, their role players throughout this playoffs, with the exception of Game 7 in Phoenix, their role players are completely different on the road. I mean, Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Maxi Kleber. You got, I mean, Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson have been very consistent throughout. I think that trade for going Porzingis for Dinwiddie was definitely something that set Dallas over the hump and got them to this point. But they don't have that #2 guy, and I feel like Luka does, whether it's a big or another, like a point guard. I'm going to say like a Steph Curry. I mean, he's the greatest shooter of all time, but a guy that can run, a guy that can come off screens and that Luka can facilitate to and consistently hit an open jump shot. I mean, if you put Jordan Poole on this Dallas team, I believe we have a very, even series, and maybe Dallas turns out to be the better team overall. But they don't have that one guy that can consistently come off of ball screens and hit those corner, and perimeter jump shots to assist Luka and offset some of that, offensive burden that he has night in and night out.
Yeah, no, and tonight he's gonna have to stop giving up the ball as much as he did in game one, because I felt like he was trying to include his players and trying to get them involved and stuff. But tonight that's
Mhm.
not gonna happen. I see him taking more shots than he did. He only took 18 shots compared to what he usually takes. I see him taking 30 shots this game, and he'll probably end up with 40, 45, and still take an L. Because
Yeah.
Golden State is still going to be on a tear. I wouldn't be
Uh,
surprised if 7 players go in double figures again.
those third quarter dubs, man. I mean, you gotta weather the storm. Yeah, I mean that's what I just remember. That was the mo of the Cavs every time they faced off against the Warriors in the playoffs. The run is going to happen. You just have to do whatever you can to weather it and try to respond with as many 3-pointers in their face as much as possible. But I mean, I think yes, Luka will have a bounce back game tonight. I think it's the same type of situation that Tatum faced in game one versus game two. He was just a step late on his reads. Like he, waited a little bit too long into the shot clock, and then decided to give up the ball, and then put his teammates in a bad position, leading to turnovers. I think if Luka, tries to, maybe let Brunson, get some of the, primary ball handling duties at certain points of the game, to allow Luka to, maybe get some touches later into the shot clock, so he's not, feeling like he's got to, fill up the whole 24 seconds by himself. I think Brunson definitely needs to step up, in that sense. But Luka will adjust. Top 3 player in the league, like I said. Only got him behind, LeBron, not anymore. KD and Giannis. That's my top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Luka will adjust. They'll. I don't think Wiggins is going to hold him down. Like that in the second half. Once again, hey, I could be wrong. Prove me wrong, Andrew Wiggins, former number 1 overall pick. Prove me wrong. I challenge you, sir. But it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back, and hopefully you can get a better performance out of the rest of these role players, because I'm looking at Dorian Finney-Smith and Dwight Powell. Oh, God. Dwight Powell just light minutes on fire, bro. 3 points in 14 minutes, and Dorian Finney-Smith 5 points, minus 22 in 34 minutes of playing time. You just can't have that, my friend. But yeah, just got to be better, showing overall to help out the boy Luka.
No, that's gonna be the key aspect of the Dallas Mavericks. Is the role players, are they gonna show up or not? I feel like at home they're gonna show up. I think Dallas wins their 2 games at home, their first 2 games at home, and then after that, Golden State's just like, no, we're gonna turn this up. We're gonna show you why we were a dynasty a few years ago, before all the injuries and everything, and we're gonna give it to you and take it to you and go to the NBA Finals, because I don't think the role players are gonna do anything for the Dallas Mavericks, man.
Hey, listen, it's happened to better teams than Dallas before. Golden State has done this to much better teams throughout their Steph Curry history. But I credit to Jason Kidd with his adjustments, in the Phoenix series. I didn't think that Dallas had a shot, really. I thought that Phoenix would have put them away within 6 games. I
Same.
mean, that was what everybody was penciling in. The Warriors versus the Suns, Clay and Steph versus Paul and Booker. I mean, it was written in the stars, but they didn't
It
show
was
up
a
in game 7.
prophecy.
And
That
it
shit was
it
already
was
in the Bible.
foretold, my friend. I mean, it was ridiculous. The fact that they that is going to be something that I think will be the final nail in the coffin of the Chris Paul legacy, because I don't think he gets back. I don't even know if they keep that team together necessarily, with the whole Ayton contract situation and whatnot.
Yeah,
But
they would have extended him already.
yeah, no doubt. I mean, Sarver's been notoriously cheap in his years of owning the Phoenix franchise, so we'll see what comes of that.
Mm.
But Dallas has enough to get to this point, but like I said, Luka just needs that consistent second score. Jalen Brunson is a great point guard. but Luka's a point guard. You need a off the ball guy who can run from baseline to baseline and just run off of screens and just hit, spot up threes. Reggie Bullock thinks he's that, but he's not. He, is a different player on the road. I mean, he wasn't even that for the New York Knicks. So I don't know what, makes anybody think that Reggie Bullock is going to become, the, Jordan Poole of this team. Dorian Finney-Smith is a great player, 3-and-D guy, but again, he's just not like that. I mean, he can't be the guy that puts up, 15 to 20 points night in and night out. He's going to, throw up some duds and, only take 3 threes and, only score 5 points. It just need a little something extra. And it's the same thing with Spencer Dinwiddie. Spencer Dinwiddie is another ball dominant point guard. He needs to have the ball in his hands to, make everything work. I think Spencer Dinwiddie is a fine addition to this team. And, we'll definitely, Jalen Brunson's going to get it back this offseason somewhere else. So that leaves a spot open. I think you keep Spencer Dinwiddie on the bench in that 6-man role to, come in for Luka, facilitate some things while he's getting his breaks and everything. But you need that prolific off the ball scorer in order to make this offense fully what it can be with Luka. I don't think you necessarily need the big time, the prize big man, although it would be interesting to see DeAndre Ayton on this team. Just saying. It would be very interesting to see DeAndre Ayton and Luka team up. So see what it comes to that. But I don't think Luka necessarily needs that big man to succeed at such a high level. I just think he needs that, off the ball scoring threat.
It's funny that you say that because I've been thinking about this transaction like the past few months already, just because of the trade that Dallas did with Washington to get Dinwiddie. I think they should do another trade with Washington, and they should give. Is Brunson going to be a free agent, or they could do a sign and trade? Okay, so he's going to be a free agent.
Could do a sign and trade. I don't know how sign and trades work. Never understood how that happens, but you never know.
So they could sign Brunson and then trade him away. Mm-hmm. So the sign and trade will basically be that, okay, we're going to sign this player for you, but we're going to trade him to you for this player and this player, or picks or money or whatever the case may be, right?
What constitutes, though, the amount that the team that has him at the present time of the signing, like what constitutes the amount that they give him? Because why would, as a player, if I just go over there, there's got to be like some type of like mutual understanding amongst all three parties that the player is going to get what he's asking for. Yep. Dallas is going to give him what he's asking for. And, Washington wouldn't give him, a dime more than what Dallas is offering.
Yeah,
so there's got to be some type of like mutual understanding there.
Yeah, no, and that's what it is. It's just like, imagine you and I made a deal right now, and I'm like, yo, I want some of your grapes, but you want some of my strawberries, and be like, okay, let me get 3 of your grapes, right, and I'm gonna give you $5, right, and then you give me 2 of your strawberries, but I'm gonna give you $2, and it's just like, I don't know if that really made sense to you, but like, it's just like, like how you said, we have a mutual understanding of what is worth what. So it's just like the concept of money, right? The people, if everybody agrees that $1 is worth something, then it's worth it. But if people disagree that the dollar is worth nothing, then the dollar ain't worth shit. So it's what you said, it's a mutual understanding. Now going back to what I was saying, yeah. No, this is a whole different topic. That's a
whole nother podcast.
That's a whole nother podcast. And that podcast will go on for like 3 hours because I was going on rants on that one.
Of just asking questions with no answers,
right?
Just a snake eating its tail. Like,
we bring on a specialist and shit. We just fucking question.
And we learn nothing.
But going back to what I was saying, I think the Dallas Mavericks should do another deal with the Washington Wizards, and it should be for Bradley Beal. Because if you bring in Bradley Beal, an off-ball scorer, like you said, because I agree they need an off-ball scorer, bro, Bradley Beal is going to be averaging like 32 points a game playing with Luka Doncic, coming off the screens. He's one of the best shooting guards in the league that is off-ball presence. So he could create his own shot, and he could get to the rack. He could get open off the screens. I think it would be a perfect play for the Dallas Mavericks to go and get Bradley Beal.
Agreed. I mean, it does leave a definite liability on the defensive end, but he is everything that Luka would want in that second threat. it shows what Jason Kidd is capable of with coaching these guys up to, be such a sound defensive unit. So maybe, Kidd is the right guy to, coach up that type of team and, make sure they're at least, formidable on the defensive end. But yeah, no, I completely agree that Brad Beal would be the perfect Robin to Luka's Batman. That's what, how far did when John Wall was existing, how far did Brad Beal and John
when he
Wall
wasn't
get?
stealing money
Was it
from
like the
Houston
semifinal?
Rockets?
Yeah, when he wasn't falling downstairs like Jason Derulo. Like, he was. I think they got to the semifinals. So John Wall is, even though he was menace on the defensive end, with able to steal. I think he led the league in steals a couple times. But Luka is everything on the offensive end that Brad Beal needed in order to get them over that hump. So definitely, I think that would be a fine experiment for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. I think Golden State takes this series 100%. I think they take it in 6 games. They'll win tonight. They'll lose the next 2, and then they'll come back and be like, yeah, we're not losing again.
Agree. 5 or 6. I just think that the Mavericks are gonna run out of gas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But be a hell of a finals, whoever the Warriors match up with.
Yeah, if it's Celtics or Heat, no matter what, I think that will go Game 7. Each of them.
Definitely. To 3 very deep teams in their own right.
Yeah. Yeah, Dallas just doesn't have much. Shout out to them for getting this far, because not a lot of us thought they were going to get this far. A lot of us thought that they were going to lose to the Utah Jazz.
Thank God they didn't, because that Utah team, they've been a pain, a thorn in the side of the NBA for far too long. They need to break that up and ship Gobert back to where he came from.
They need to do what OKC did and try to get like 50,000 picks. Just like 3 seasons.
Hey, if Brad Beal, don't make it out of Washington, Donovan Mitchell would be a very interesting pairing with Luka. That's probably worse than Brad Beal on the defensive side of the ball, but something to consider.
Yeah, that's not a bad take, honestly.
If the Jazz, do part with who was it that sounded like they gave the ultimatum? Was it Gobert or was it Mitchell? I think it was Gobert. That
it was Gobert.
Press conference kind of insinuated, the ultimatum, like me or him. So if they do choose Gobert, who does have more accolades to his name up to this point, maybe it's a spiteful move that Spider would want to go to Dallas and try to get back at his former team. Maybe more petty things have happened in the NBA.
Yes, yes, they have. And I think Spider wants to get out of there, honestly. I think he was like, when he heard that from Gobert, he was like, oh, yeah, you giving me the green light, babe. You giving me the green light, I'm out of here. Wade, where you at? Call South Beach.
Unless your boy D-Wade steps in, as a member of that ownership, committee and says, don't trade my young protege. Trade away that toxic French guy over there. Trade his ass. Get him out. I hate Rudy Gobert so much.
But what would be the better fit for them, though? Trading away their defensive monster that holds down the defensive end and honestly, like, holds teams to below average of what they're scoring, or trading your top scorer on the team that is a liability on defense? I don't know which is better.
It's a no-brainer that it's Gobert to me. I mean, bias aside, it's just how the NBA is. I mean, you see all of these teams now going small. I mean, they're, in the fourth quarter, you got Draymond playing center. You got, Max Kleber doesn't get enough credit for being as nimble as he is. I mean, you got Bam Adebayo, who was a very mobile center, and you got, Ali Horford or Bob Williams, who were splitting time, who are both, savvy, defenders in their own right. But all of those guys have the ability to switch. Gobert does not. I mean, he's barbecue chicken as soon as he gets outside the 3-point line. So you are able to play him out. And I think that has to be the next step in the evolution of a guy like DeAndre Ayton, where like he has to be able to consistently play on the switch. But Gobert cannot do that. And I think he is, close to, if not already, on the back end of his career. So I think it's a no-brainer, because I think Donovan Mitchell still has the ability to develop as a defensive player. I think he just needs to be, reinvigorated and, and find that extra motivation to become that type of guy. Because I think he could be. I mean, he's got the quickness, he's got the, athleticism to potentially become a very, a very, good defender who's like a Marcus Smart kind of guy. I mean, he's the same size as Marcus Smart. Who's to say he can't be that?
Now, way better scorer than Marcus Smart too.
Exactly. No, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you keep Donovan Mitchell, roll your dice with that, and ship Gobert to either Paris Saint-Germain or the Charlotte Hornets, either one.
Hey, that would have been a bad move. Charlotte Hornets, LaMelo Ball, and Gobert.
Whatever makes LaMelo get to Los Angeles faster, I'm all for it, and that would definitely be the final, nail in that column. LeVar would be on court side chirping Gobert night in and night out. So I would live for that type of drama.
Yeah, hell yeah, that'd be awesome, honestly. Yeah, well, the NBA players are coming to a close soon. In June 6th, I think June 6th to June 5th is when the NBA Finals will start. So, ladies and gentlemen,
there eventually.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are tuned into that because it's going to be a great finals. No matter which teams go up there, I think it's going to go to Game 7 100%, I feel. So it's going to be great. Yeah. NFL offseason, soon the NFL is...
now we're getting to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, the NFL season is going to start soon. So the NFL offseason was pretty spectacular for most teams around the league. But, it's still going on. There's still moves to be made. But real quick, I just want to hear what you have to say about your team, the Baltimore Ravens, and what they did this offseason, and even including into the draft.
Well, to sum up this offseason for me, it has been quite the roller coaster, my friend. So I was in the camp for a little bit that we need to fire Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator, and pretty much like, the narrative, you got to let Russ cook, got to let Lamar cook. Let's go 5 wide. Let's spread this thing out. Have Lamar, still have the ability to run, which he always will, and let's just sling the pill out there. Then the draft happened, and we got Kyle Hamilton for the first 14 overall pick. Then we traded my baby boy Hollywood. I wish him nothing but the best. I got no ill feelings toward Hollywood Brown. I've been a Hollywood defender since he came in. So, his little ass got up on that stage, walked over to Goodell, shook his hand, and I learned at that point that he was best friends with Lamar because they're both, Florida boys. So I'm just like, hey, welcome to the family, brother. And he had that first game in Miami, caught them 2 touchdowns. I think he only had like 4 catches in that game, but he had his moments. I mean, he was instrumental in that 2019 run, but time after time, the man could not beat press coverage against a good corner to save his life. And I don't know this for a fact, but my a memory of Hollywood on, the design run plays that, Greg Roman calls, they're always, I feel like, to the other side. And that's one thing that Hollywood
block and
doesn't
he can't get away from a corner.
That's the thing. Like he just I wish nothing but the best for him. I think it is a great fit for him to land in Arizona, but he just was not the right fit for this offense. Now you slide in a Rashad Bateman, who is a guy who's got 3 inches and about 20 pounds on Hollywood as that number 1 receiver. You've got Mark Andrews, who I will go to bat for as the top tight end in the NFL, both from a blocking perspective and an offensive prowess perspective. He is Travis Kelce and George Kittle.
You're saying overall, though. You're saying an overall blocking and receiving tight end. Okay.
Yes, the overall picture.
He's up there.
And Andrews is younger. Andrews is much younger than Travis Kelce, and he's younger than Kittle. So he's got, he still hasn't hit that full ceiling yet. And I think that going into this year, it is the same type of roster construction as 2019, but so much better. Like
Okay.
the holes that we supposedly had on both sides of the ball in 2019 that were exposed by Derrick Henry in the divisional round, but in the Ravens' defense in that, abysmal showing against the Tennessee Titans. I don't know who was stopping Derrick Henry on that night. I mean, that man
No,
ran
I don't think no
roughshod,
one
would
in
have
the
ran
league is
roughshod over.
stopping Dorian Henry
I think
that
only the
year.
2000 Ravens could have stopped Derrick
Yeah.
Henry on that night, and then it would have been a meeting of two titans if Derrick Henry and Ray Lewis was meeting in the hole. That would have been something to see for sure. But
Yeah, you would have seen like a
everything,
glare. Once they hit, you see a glare, just the field, and the
right?
lights go out. And
That absolutely. It's like an EMP, like
yeah, yeah,
just
and
completely like
everybody's just
play.
like,
Like what the like
What's just
are we
happening?
dead now? Are we dead? Are we in heaven?
Heaven,
I think it would have
God.
happened. Right. But the holes that they had with the receiving core, I think are much better than what it was in 2019. I mean, you had Willie Snead as the slot man. Now you got Devin Duvernay, who is a Pro Bowl talent. He made the Pro Bowl as a kick returner, so he's got the wiggle. He's got the ability. I think he definitely needs to step up, and I think he will. We got some young guys in waiting in the wings, like a James Prochet and a Tylan Wallace, who are later round picks. They've definitely had flashes in our preseason games the past couple of years. So they will definitely need to step up. There's going to be a need to step up on the from this receiving core for sure. And Rashad Bateman is going to have to take that next step, and I think he will. So I think he showed great flashes with Tyler Huntley, quarterback. The running back core is better than it was in 2019. You still got Gus Edwards, who hopefully will be the same Gus Edwards coming off of that injury. I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be fine. He's young enough to, bounce back from an injury like that. And I think he'll be better than what Mark Ingram was. You got Mark Andrews, who is now better than what he was. You got these two guys. I haven't watched much tape on Charlie Kohler or Isaiah Likely. I mean, I've seen some Isaiah Likely clips, and he looks like a guy from Coastal Carolina that could line up out wide. I mean, he looks like, one of those, hybrid, wide receivers who can, come in and do a little bit of run blocking there. Then, Tyler Lindenbaum, great, pickup on the inside. And the Ravens ended up finishing the draft with three guys that were mocked to them at some point in time with the 14th overall pick in this draft, with Ajabo getting him on the back end in the second round. I mean, if he can come back, say week 5 or 6, I think that is a nightmarish tandem with him and Odafe Owe on the other side, wreaking havoc with, Big Calais and Mike Pierce in the middle. And, hopefully Patrick Queen takes that next step. And then our secondary, the talent speaks for itself. So I'm very optimistic. It's been a roller coaster. I was in the camp that, we should fire Greg Roman, completely, clean house and with the coaching staff, and, let pretty much Lamar, choose, the guys that he wants to play with. But doubling down, it's we're going to use what led us to a 13-3 season in 2019 and the number one, seed overall in the NFL. Just use all that to shape whatever this season is going to be. So I'm optimistic, my friend.
No, I like where you guys are headed this season. I just think that now you got to face AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals, which they made some upgrades to their O-line. Then you got the Cleveland Browns, who just got a terrific quarterback. This guy's gonna change. He's gonna change the organization, the team, the culture in that locker room. I feel 100%. Baker Mayfield, he's still
a culture setter, all right. He's a culture setter, all right. The wrong one.
Well, let's just sticking on the field. Sticking on the field. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But I do see you guys winning a lot of games. I like the chances of you guys making the playoffs this year. Last year, you guys would have made the playoffs, but you guys had like 29,000 injuries before the first game started. And then throughout the season, you had like 3 impactful injuries that just messed up your season. And you still almost got there. So it was, you guys got a lot of promise, a lot of potential. What I don't like right now, though, from you guys is the fact
Mhm.
that you guys have not extended Lamar Jackson. Do you think that's gonna happen soon, or you think they're gonna wait to see how the season plays out?
From all of the punditry talk that I have heard regarding quarterback contracts, um, for some reason, I mean, it's the NFL, so they have a way of doing things, and usually they stick to that, and rarely do they, get off of that beaten path. Usually, those types of contracts happen in and around training camp. So I
Mm-hmm.
guess, you get him in the building, you lay out the plan for the season, you deliberate on, what the quarterback likes, what the quarterback doesn't like, what the, offensive court, this, that, and the third. And then you talk money, you talk numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lamar will get a contract extension by his side, excuse me. I think that he really enjoys playing for this team. I think it was a tough pill to swallow for him to allow the trade of Hollywood. Yeah, I mean that was his boy on and off the field. I mean they were every single post game. You got Instagram videos galore of him and Lamar and Hollywood just bopping a Kodak in their car in the parking lot just vibing. I
Yeah.
mean that was their deal. I mean they're tight. Um,
Yeah, for
I,
sure that
I
was
think
a
that it was
surprise to
a
him. And I think he even wrote a tweet about it once it happened. He was like,
he did
"What?"
he
Yeah.
did have, but I think that was kind of just a like this is going to be my public reaction because I believe Lamar when he says like he didn't want it to happen, but I totally believe that he knew about it before it happened because
Okay.
Hollywood was in Arizona the night of the draft. He was at their draft party, like literally the second after it was announced. So he was gone. And you would definitely like, I feel like you would realize if your, best friend up and moved across the country, like before it happens, unless there's bad blood there that we don't know about that isn't, being aired out publicly. So I think it was, run past and cleared, by LJ before DaCosta pulled the trigger on a trade in Hollywood to Arizona, which was a fantastic trade on the Ravens end. I mean, not only do you get the best interior lineman in the league, but you don't have to pay Hollywood what he's going to require, which
Mm-hmm.
in this offense, much to the chagrin of NFL fans across the country, wide receivers are not a necessity in this offense. Like all NFL fans want the high powered, Kansas City offense for their own, but that's just not what the Ravens are doing right now. And that's just not how the team is currently constructed. I think if things don't work out this year, that it's going to be a tough conversation to have amongst the coaching staff and Lamar Jackson. I do believe that the contract extension does happen before this season begins because I do not believe that the ownership of the Ravens and the coaching staff of the Ravens are going to let Lamar take the field and with his style put himself at the risk of injury without compensating him. I mean, he's already won a unanimous most valuable player of the NFL, and he is the most, next to Tom Brady, he is the winningest quarterback of all time through these first few seasons of his career. So
Mm-hmm.
he has the accolades already to prove that he is QB1, and he already has the accolades to prove that he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. With I don't want to hear nothing about this, inability to pass. In his MVP season, the man led the league in touchdown passes. And last year, before he got hurt in week 7, he was top 5 in passing yards. So the guy can sling the pill. He won a Heisman Trophy, for Christ's sake. Like you don't win a Heisman Trophy and put up these types of numbers and win a unanimous MVP without being able to throw the damn football in the NFL. Like it just don't make any sense to me. It's an outdated argument, and it will be, I think, forever silenced after this season when we have an upgraded unit from the 2019 season that will allow us to, display, that type of, game plan once again. So I think the contract will get done. I think that all of that stuff will be put to bed by the end of training camp. That is my firm prediction.
So just playing devil's advocate for right now, because I feel like the argument is more towards, can Lamar Jackson get the Baltimore Ravens over the hump, get far into the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, then more of, can he pass the ball, whatever. Because I think that argument has been silenced because of what, that same year that they say, he's just a running quarterback, whatever. That next year he came out, he said, okay, hold my beer, I got you. And he came out and he showed out. So I think more of the argument
with the weapons
is,
that he had, with what weapons too.
And it's like how they say, can he get you over the hump and this and that? I think yes, he can. He just has been in an unfortunate situation. One, with the receiving core, right? Like you said, they're not a pass team like that. They're more of a run team. But he didn't really have any receivers like that. He got a top 3 tight end in the league, but tight ends, what they go 15 and out, 10 and out, 10 and in, 5 and in. They do short routes. They don't really do long routes. So how are you gonna really play the field like that? Well, Hollywood Brown, it was a great pickup for them. It was a great draft pick for them, but I think Hollywood Brown is a number 2 receiver. He's a Robin to a Batman in another team, and that's why he's a good fit for Arizona. Because you got DeAndre Hopkins and you got AJ Green over there. They're gonna take off the pressure off of you, so he's gonna be wide open most of the time. He's playing with his college quarterback Kyle Murray down in Oklahoma. So I think it's going to be a great fit for him. It was a good decision for them to get rid of him, to try to bring in some new talent, try to upgrade Bateman to that number 1 receiver spot. I honestly thought that you guys were going to sign Javarius Landry at one point, maybe even Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham is still available out there, even though he had a messed up knee. But I do think that Lamar can get you guys over the hump, take you to the Super Bowl, and even win it.
Agreed. And in the games where he fell short in the past few seasons, especially, highlighting the game against the Bills in 2020 and highlighting the game against the Titans in 2019, a lot of guys failed him in big spots. Lamar got injured at the end, and at the end of the Bills game, Huntley almost hit Hollywood on a deep ball, but he overthrew him. And in 2019, there are at least 5 drops by wide receivers that I could turn your attention to that would have definitely swung the game and the momentum to the Ravens. But most of those, I think, were on third downs and things like that, to be honest with you, were just absolute drive killers. And then, like I said, I don't think anybody except the 85 Bears and the 2000 Ravens was stopping Derrick Henry on that night.
Yeah, nobody.
Exactly. And against the Bills, it was, a weather game, and the Bills just made a couple more plays. Lamar had that, crucial pick 6 at the end, and whoever that guy, Teron Johnson, I think, took it to the house, and that was, pretty much the final nail in the coffin. Even though, like I said, Huntley had the opportunity to hit Hollywood, deep, and he just missed it. But that wasn't Lamar. If Lamar's in there, he might hit him. I don't know. He's hit Hollywood on that pass, time and time again. But the trade for, trading away Hollywood gets us out of, having to pay him, so we can, focus, allocate that money elsewhere. Can put it towards Lamar. We can put it towards, offensive line, things that actually help the structure of this team succeed. I think that, I want the entire time when I was, preaching, spread the offense out, fire Greg Roman, get somebody in there who wants to, let Lamar set up and shot and, run 4 or 5 receivers out. I wanted a guy to pretty much be like Kansas City has Kelsey. They got Mecole Hardman, who is the speed demon, and Tyreek Hill, who was also the speed demon. But Tyreek Hill had the ability to cut in and, run those routes in the middle of the field. Hollywood didn't have that. He didn't have, I think it was more of, I think with Tyreek, it's more of a thing where defenders fully know what he's capable of. with his speed. So they kind of play off of him when he's in the middle of the field because like they just think that he can just cut on a dime and then just go, you know. Hollywood
Which
never
he can.
proved that he had. Yes, exactly. Hollywood never proved that he really had that second gear to do that, nor did he have the strength to get off of that press coverage and then go. Tyreek Hill has the strength to get off of that press coverage and go. The dude has like some of the biggest quads in the NFL. I mean, you've seen that video of him doing the hamstring stretch. Yep. Like that takes some unreal strength. And I think that he, you know, Tyreek Hill is that, you know, next level, you know, Hollywood Brown type receiver that the Ravens wanted out of Marquise, but never got. So you needed somebody else to, you know, offset that load and, you know, just have Hollywood just dart up the middle, but have a guy that is able to run those short intermediate routes that is not the tight end, you know, because sometimes you're going to need the tight end to stay in and block. Sometimes you're going to need the tight end to, you know, run a little drag, you know, and be the, you know, security blanket for the quarterback. But there was just never that, you know, second threat. And once Bateman got involved in the offense last year after he returned from injury, it was only a few games that he played with Lamar. I think it was like 3 or 4. And I think Hollywood was out for like 2 of those. And then Lamar got injured and it was Tyler Huntley the rest of the way. Yeah. So they just never, you know, developed that chemistry of the, you know, that, you know, 4-man, you know, receiving or threat that, you know, I would have wanted. That being said, you know, we'll run it back like 2019. And I think that they're, you know, they're in a great spot with the addition of Kyle Hamilton on defense. I think that he could be everything that Patrick Queen is not. I mean, you know, we got plenty of safeties. That's for sure. Marcus Williams signing. He's that ball hawk in the center, you know, to hold it down, you know, on the back end. And then like Kyle Hamilton is a sideline to sideline, you know, not only like ball hawk. I mean, he, you know, he'll hit you.
Sean Taylor right there.
That's what Chuck. Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what our guy Chuck Clark does right now at strong safety. But Kyle Hamilton has just so much more potential, and he's also 6'4", and you know, he's got 3 inches on Chuck Clark, and he's got, you know, 20 pounds on Chuck Clark, and he's every bit as athletic as him. Oh yeah,
much he's young. Yeah, he's younger than him. Yeah.
Chuck Clark, I think, has been on the spot for about 5 years now out of Virginia Tech. So I think he'll, you know, kind of, you know, morph into more of like a rover role, and or maybe, you know, you start Kyle Hamilton in that role, and you know, have Chuck Clark, you know, be on the back end at strong safety, or you know, vice versa. I think they're going to be interchangeable, and I think that you know, where like Patrick Queen, like he's got the talent, he just doesn't have the instincts yet, and I think Kyle Hamilton has the talent and the instincts. So I think he'll be like everything that, you know, PQ has not been for us up to this point in the middle of that defense.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a good season for you guys. Hopefully you guys can triumph.
Hopefully. We under the radar, man. But that's why we like it. Just the way we like it.
It's just the only thing I got to say is that the AFC is deep, like super, super deep. I think about like 13 teams can make the playoff and only 7 make it. So it's going to be tough in your division.
I mean, listen, if Trubisky is serviceable, I mean, the Steelers are going to be no slouch. I mean, Najee Harris is that dude. I mean, I'm saying, I got them penciled in for 4th.
I think Pickett's going to start like week 3, week 4.
Oh, I can't wait to see his little hands in person. I can't wait. I can't wait to see, you know, Mark, you know, Odafe Oweh coming off the back end and just taking that ball from him and then just ripping his hands off and then just eating it like a drumstick. You know what I mean?
Nah, he has potential though. I think he's better than Trubisky for sure.
I'm just circling those Bengals games. Fucking
that's gonna be tough for you guys. And the Browns. The Browns defense is nothing to play with.
That Burrow made.
What did he say?
Them comments that Burrow made. He was talking about playing the Ravens. Said he likes playing the Ravens because they talk shit so much, and then he recapped what he did, you know, against us both times this year. Went over 2 his first year against Baltimore, his rookie. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, no, he didn't play the second game. Played the first game, but got absolute dog walk in Baltimore.
Yeah, because he got injured before the second game.
Then he got injured, I think, a couple weeks later at Raleigh John. And then And then the next year, he was, that was the Jamar Chase versus Marlon Humphrey game where he got absolutely torched. Marlon Humphrey, I've kind of like taken a step back on the Marlon Humphrey train with him being, a top 3 cornerback in the league, because last year was not it for him. I think he does greatly benefit with Marcus Peters being on the other end, because like a quarterback got to make that decision. Like, if I don't try Marlon Humphrey, then I'm throwing it up to one of the best ball hawking corners in the NFL.
Yeah,
so like having Juice Man on the other side greatly impacts Marlon Humphrey, because I think, he's the press guy that wants to lock you up. But if you have a guy like a Jamar Chase that can get by him, I don't think Marlon Humphrey has that elite speed. He's a fast guy, but he can't keep up with the fastest receiver in the NFL. So I think, he greatly benefits from having Marcus Peters on that other end, like I said. So we'll see how, that shapes up. I think the Jalen Armour Davis pick in the 4th round is going to be one to watch. I think he seamlessly slides in there at that slot position, next to Marlo and Juice Man. So we'll see how that turns out. But with the full assortment of weapons that Burrow has, and with a fully healthy secondary with Baltimore, I think that is going to be must-see television for sure. Because Burrow said like, I threw for 500 yards in in the second game that we played them. So that was fun, which was against Tyler Huntley. So whatever, dude. Like, fucking beat Tyler Huntley. Like, good for you. You want a fucking cookie? And then the first game was against it was the Jamar Chase game where he went for 200. So asterisks, in my opinion, can go up against both of those victories for young Joseph Burrow. I'm ready for this man to be humbled next season.
He ain't going to be humbled. That guy is extremely confident. And I love it, honestly.
Never that.
I love that.
Never that. And I love it for him. Yeah, exactly. I wish, if I was a fan of a team with Joe Burrow as my quarterback, I wouldn't want him any other way, you know? So
Facts.
Much respect to Joseph, but your ass going to be humbled, my friend, soon and very soon.
All right, man. Hey, before we get out of here, if you got any plugins, social media, any projects you're working on, let the fans know. Let them know where they can follow you, where they can watch your stuff, man.
Yeah, man. No, I'm gonna get the Dilly Sports media train started up here soon with more studio opportunities in the coming classes. So we're gonna be putting our stuff out there. Keep an eye on my main socials at Dillingham87 on Twitter and at Dill87 on Instagram. And some announcements will be dropping on that soon, and we're going to be unveiling the fully expanded YouTube page with more content to come. So much to be seen, and much will be created here in the coming months for sure, as we finish up this here program.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'll have the graphic up so the people can actually visualize it and, get it down pat, get to follow you.
Appreciate
and stuff.
That.
Guys, you know where you can follow me: Twitter at GeorgeMike Perez, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at GMike Media _. And the podcast itself, the audio version of it, is under the G Perspective on all podcast platforms. Austin, I appreciate you for coming on, my dog. For sure, I got to get you on another podcast because this was awesome. This was great. Thank you for all your insight and giving us your personality, man. I appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Hey, no, I appreciate the opportunity. It was my, podcasting debut overall in this game. So it's been an honor to be allowed on this platform. Appreciate it, bro. Hey, let's do this again. I had a lot of fun, Mr. George Perez, the G Perspective. Yes, Lord. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.